Hey, Sean, I'm putting you on the spot. The West Virginia Mountaineers. Why does West Virginia suck?
First of all, my team will never suck. I'm going to say that for my West Virginia people that's listening. So I'm not going to let Rob turn me against y'all. That's first and foremost. But why? There's things we need to do to be a successful team. And these are the things we're not doing at the moment. And it goes with consistency as a team and an individual consistency. So as a team, we have to know, all right, we started the year known as a defensive team that's going to rebound. Me and Rob talked about this 100 times. What do you expect from us, Rob? You're going to shoot the ball, you're going to miss it, you're going to offensive rebound it, you're going to offensive rebound it and dunk the ball down people's throats or score the ball, whatever the case may be. But your best shot is a missed shot.
Ugly basketball is what I expected. The worst basketball in the country.
It's going to be ugly ball. We lose Oscar Tshiebwe because he wants to transfer. And then we went from a team that was really predicated on defense and having a hard time scoring to a team that can score that refuses to guard. So, like, just having a middle ground and having some consistency on both ends of the court, I feel would help the Mountaineers out a ton. You can actually shoot the ball from the perimeter well and also defend. There's other teams that do it as well. So those are things that I feel my Mountaineers can really do. And that's just team, like that's team consistency and an individual consistency where we have Deuce McBride and you have Derek Culver, who are the guys. They're the go-to guys. They're the tandem. Those are the guys that you trust to get the points in our team. We need the other guys on the team to be consistent as well. And I'm not taking that responsibility away from Derek Culver and Deuce McBride. They need to be consistent because if they don't do well, we don't win games as well. We can't depend on just the role players to go out there and do what they need to do, and we can't depend on just Deuce McBride and Derek Culver to do what they need to do. It needs to be Derek Culver so we can have that inside-outside. We need Deuce McBride to do what he normally does, and we need Sean McNeil and Taz Sherman to be consistent shooters from the perimeter. And early in the year, Taz Sherman wasn't consistent. Sean McNeil was great. Then midway through the season, Sean McNeil wasn't shooting well, and then Taz was shooting great. Now we're getting to a point where they're both playing well at the same time, and Deuce McBride is playing okay, and Culver has been a little up and down, so we're not getting our best basketball. And even then, we're still finding ways to sneak games out and win games and keep games close. But individual consistency and our defense are our issues. I mean, Baylor just drove the ball down our throat the last 2 minutes of regulation to get to OT, 2 bonehead plays to finish regulation, and then still had an opportunity to win the game. And defense was the reason the game was won. So.
My 2 things with West Virginia are when Osa Boyden is on the floor, he is a 0 offensively. And I think some teams are going to really be able to take advantage of that. As good as he is defensively and rebounding and everything else, when you got a guy who can literally go for 0 in a game out there, that's a problem. The other thing is my Cincinnati guy, Deuce McBride. His father was my in-school suspension teacher in high school. Shouts to Walt. I don't know if he's a point guard. And when he gets sped up a little bit, you never quite know what's going to happen. And in March, you want to know what's going to happen. So I think Deuce has to really show that he can control a game in the way that Huggs wants him to. Now, Huggs is going to give him some freedom, obviously. But, can he run a team and get a team in the right spots when the other team's on a run? That would be and I've been seeing that a little bit more and more recently, I think, with Deuce. So that's kind of a concern for me is he's starting to play a little bit faster than I think his game is designed to be played.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you guys said. It's just, for me, it's the getting stops. At the end of the day, there have been too many games where we've seen just the final possession, West Virginia couldn't keep a guy in front. They couldn't keep Jared Butler from getting the rim. They couldn't keep who was it? Was it?
It was
Mac McClung.
Yeah. Maceo T. Mac McClung from time to time. Yeah, it's like
no, it was the Oklahoma game. It was Austin Reeves. Sorry, it was Austin Reeves getting to the rim. It was in the Florida game. They couldn't stop guys from penetrating. To me, that's the big thing is you got to be able to keep guys out of the lane. And it feels like they should have guys that are better defensively. Like I feel like Miles McBride should be better. I mean, just got to keep people in front. So that's kind of what it is for me on West Virginia. All right, we got two more. We're going to call it a night.
Before we leave, I can't let Gabe Osaboyan off with a Gabe slander. Gabe is an amazing player. He has amazing shots. He's a great passer and an amazing defender. Had to get that out there. I know my Mountaineers are probably somewhere around there. I can't let you sneak out of there with Gabe slander, Mr. Snow.
All right, two more. We got two more left, and we're going to get out of here. I'm going to start with Kansas. Snow, I'm going to let you lead it off on this one. The Jayhawks, they barely beat UTEP tonight. They came back and won. That definitely felt like a game where they did not want to play at all, and they were kind of forced to play. So, why do the Jayhawks suck, Mr. Snow?
They're just not talented relative to the other teams we've talked to. Like they just don't have that level of talent. And David McCormick, I mean, what is Goodman like building a shrine to him in his house right now or something? But I mean, he's like a good player, but Bill Self's a hell of a coach, but they're just not super talented right now. And they've overachieved. They've done a great job, but they didn't play the regular Baylor. And I think people are probably trying to take that further than what it needs to be, where they beat them. You don't take it away from them, but they didn't beat Baylor playing like Baylor. And until they just become a more talented team, I just can't put them as a national title contender.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've been saying all year, I don't think that they have a go-to guy, right? Who do you give the ball to on a possession when you need a bucket? And I do think that Dave McCormick, to a point, has kind of become that guy, but it's in the form of, okay, we're going to run this set to get McCormick this duck in, and he's going to turn around and go right up through somebody and go to the rim and lay it in. And when they can do that, they're effective, because when McCormick decides, I'm going to catch the ball, I'm going to be 7 feet, I'm going to be 250 pounds, and I'm going to go just power through this guy, he can do that pretty well. The problem is that's something that's fairly easy to take away if you scheme it right, if you have some size. And once that's gone, like, what are you getting offensively? Are you really going to trust Marcus Garrett to take a game over? I don't think that's what he does best. They don't really have a point guard beyond that. Ochai Agbaji is not that guy. Christian Brown is good, but like he's great as like a fourth option for you. So they just, you know what they don't have, Snow? They don't have dudes that make dude plays. That's what they're missing.
Got to have them.
Got to have them. Deshaun, where are you at? Why does Kansas suck?
Can't argue with you on any of those things you guys said. We've been saying it all year. There was a point in time where, my friend Rob there was expecting Jalen Wilson to be the guy.
I was.
And then there was a time where I thought, you know what? Jalen Wilson doesn't just have to be the guy. Jalen Wilson, Christian Brown, and Agbaji can be the guy together. They can all take on the scoring weight, while Marcus Garrett gets people involved, not really being a point guard, something that they really lack, but like just being somewhat of a facilitator, because early on I saw Marcus Garrett wasn't going to be able to take on the reins of scoring. So I just thought maybe those three can like hold it down together until McCormick can show up later, not show up like he's showing up now, but just a little bit better than what he was doing, what he was performing at the time. And as the year has gone on, I mean, those guys have shown that, they can't be relied upon to be that consistent of scorer. So to agree with you guys, yes, they do need a guy. I feel like they're missing a guy that can go out there and get a basket when the shot clock is going down on a game-to-game basis. David McCormick has been the unsung hero for them the last 2-3 weeks, but at best he's a number 2 and for their team. On his average games, he's the third option, if anything. They still need a guy, and that's something they're totally missing, and they're overachieving. So I agree with you guys.
Yeah, I think Joe sums it up best right here. Can you guys see that comment? Sums it up, Joe. All right, we're gonna move on. we're going to move on to the last team. We are not going to talk about Villanova on this stream today. We just didn't think it was fair after Colin Gillespie went down. One, it's kind of obvious now what's going on with them. Two, it's kind of mean to make fun of Colin or talk about him like that after he just had his career kind of blow up in his face. And three, nobody can really have any opinion on them after seeing one half of basketball with what they are without their All-American point guard. So the last team we're going to talk about is Florida State. And if you gentlemen don't mind, I'm going to take this one first. And my biggest issue with this Florida State team is that the way that Leonard Hamilton builds teams is to be elite defensively and work from there. Then you're going to be able to create mismatches offensively, get to the offensive glass, have different guys that can make shots, this, that, and the third, whatever. But it all kind of starts with having great individual defenders. And I think that their scheme is good enough to mess with people. It's complicated to play against. I mean, Dave, we've talked about this plenty. But they don't have that same level of elite individual defenders that they have in the past. And I think that is kind of what their Achilles heel is. Like their entire defensive model is, we're going to make it so that you have to beat us one-on-one. We're going to make it so you can't run your offense. You have to beat us one-on-one to score. And I think they have too many guys that are capable of being beaten one-on-one to be able to play that way. But I will say this, Raekwon Gray, probably my favorite player in the country. How can you not love a dude that is built like an offensive tackle that is out here running the point? Snow, I know you love guys like that.
As everyone knows, if you're a fat guy who can play, I'm all for you.
Exactly.
So, I just think they're kind of like the step below Florida State that we've seen the past few years. They can play defense, but not like they did. They can make shots, but not like they did. They have depth, but not like they did. It's just kind of that step below. Like, they can bother you, but I swear last year at times it was like you're not getting the ball across half court. I don't see that same ability this year in terms of just being able to take a team completely out of everything they do. So they're built like Florida State. They look like Florida State, but they're not quite as good as the last two Florida State teams.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Dave, where are you at? You agree?
I feel like they're a team of great, like, team defenders. Like you said, it's just not. There's no one that stands out that's going to just absolutely stop people from doing anything. So just being, I want to say average because I don't want to use average, but you also said a step below. It's just like they don't wow you at every turn. So it's just they're solid enough to, and then they have a great coach and they're solid enough to beat teams. But it's nothing that just wows me about Florida State.